How did the suspension of habeas corpus affect civil liberties? Have you ever wondered how a nation at war can balance security with individual rights? During the American Civil War, the suspension of habeas corpus raised serious questions about civil liberties. So, how did this suspension affect those rights? Habeas corpus is a legal procedure that protects individuals from being held without just cause. It allows someone to petition a court for releases if they believe they are unlawfully detained. When President Abraham Lincoln suspended this writ in 1861, it meant the government could detain people indefinitely without trial or formal charges. This action significantly limited personal freedoms. Lincoln's initial suspension targeted border states like Maryland, where there was concern about Confederate sympathies. Military authorities were given the power to arrest suspected secessionists and spies without immediate judicial review. The government justified this move as necessary to maintain order and prevent rebellion during a national crisis. This suspension led to many arrests of political dissenters and suspected Confederate supporters. These individuals were taken into custody without the usual protections of the legal system. Critics argued that this violated constitutional rights and set a dangerous precedent for executive power. The Supreme Court, led by Chief Justice Roger Taney, ruled in the Ex parte Merryman case that only Congress had the authority to suspend habeas corpus, not the president. However, Lincoln chose to ignore this ruling, prioritizing the needs of the war over judicial constraints. In 1863, Congress passed the Habeas Corpus Suspension Act, which formally authorized the president to suspend the writ during the rebellion. This law provided legal cover for the executive branch's actions and limited judicial interference. The suspension remained in effect throughout the war, allowing the government to detain thousands without trial, including political opponents and journalists. The practical effect of this suspension was a significant restriction on civil liberties. The freedom from arbitrary arrest was compromised, and the balance between security and individual rights shifted heavily toward security. While the suspension helped the Union government maintain control, it also sparked debate about the limits of executive power and the protection of constitutional rights during emergencies. In essence, the suspension of habeas corpus during the Civil War curtailed civil liberties by allowing detention without due process, sidelining judicial oversight, and expanding executive authority. This action highlighted the tension between preserving the Union and upholding individual rights in a time of war.